questions or things anyone needs to say to me before we get going? Nope. Okay. Then let's get going. All right. Welcome, everybody. So as we were just having this conversation, the focus of this class format is that we are taking poses and we are breaking them down mechanically so that you can better understand how to further your development in that pose, right? Because often during classes, we'll do poses repetitively and we always do them the same way, right? We do them the way that we know to get into them, or the way that we know how to get out of them. And we usually get stuck in the same place, right? Because we're just trying to get into the position, right? The outward position, and not necessarily understanding what's moving in us to create the pose. So that's the focus of this class, is how do you understand the poses internally, what's actually working that creates the pose outside. So today, because we are at the end of Navaratri, the celebration of the Divine Mother, since today is the 10th day, bonus day, it's when it said we return back to the beginning, we return back to home. And the word that we have for that in comparison to the energy of the goddess, or in relation to, is the Shiva energy, right? It's a tantric way of saying it, Shiva and Shakti. So the Shiva energy, right? Shiva is the one who is our inner equanimity, right? The one that holds the spacious quality of consciousness. So no matter what's happening in the world, there's that quiet place inside, and that's Shiva. So today's focus is dancer pose, Natarajasana, because that is Shiva, right? It's Shiva representing the dance of the world, and at the same time maintaining that still place inside. So that's what we're working on, is how to be in a big position of back bending and extending and leg opening, and at the same time you're balancing. So there has to be that sense of steady quiet, right? So comfortable seat if you're not there already. Let the eyes close for a moment. And can you look for not necessarily a place where everything becomes quiet, but where you can simply feel that there's a acceptance of what's there. So your mind might be running, your body might have aches and pains, but there's a place inside with all of that that is still a place that says, I'm okay. And that's really what we're looking for. It's just the place inside that consistently says, I'm okay. And if we have that, then we're able to deal with all of the other circumstances more easily. So a deep breath into being okay. And a deep breath out. And then bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. We'll open with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. And let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands, please. Then come forward onto hands and knees. We're going to start in cat-cow. So hands come underneath the shoulders, knees come underneath the hips. Good. And then just begin to move your spine, inhaling, lifting the chest, tilting the tail up and back, and then exhaling, curling and rounding, and focusing on, again, you're moving through your ribs and you are moving through the pelvis. On both actions, you're moving the ribs, you're moving the pelvis. Good. Nice. And I want you to feel that even as you are moving from that inhale, dropping the belly, to the exhale, pulling the navel in, when you exhale and you pull up and round, pull your navel up towards your spine. And then as you inhale and lengthen, don't let go of that pulling the navel towards the spine. So that as you extend forward, the belly is stretching, but it's not dropping with no awareness. Right? So try to maintain that feeling that my navel is drawing towards my spine on the exhale, and then it stays drawing towards my spine on the inhale. Good. Couple more breaths. Move yourself full length of your spine. Beautiful. And then come to stillness, please. Stretch the right arm out wide to the right. You're going to slide that arm behind your left wrist. Right shoulder finds the floor, threading the needle. Good. Look to your left. And then bring the left arm forward towards straight. Good. Pressing into your shins. Do a little lift of your low belly here. So you're trying to move those hip points up off of your thighs. Good. Nice, you guys. Breathe into the back of the heart. So there's a lot of focus in dancer pose because it's a back bend and we're coming forward, that there's going to be a lot of tendency to drop everything into the front of your body, to have a lot of forward momentum. What helps you maintain balance is to actually move your weight, move your breath into the back of your body. So practice it here. Push into that right forearm that's on the floor. See if you can feel a little bit more lift through your shoulder, and then actually try to fill up the back of your body. Good. So try to take more awareness into the low space of your rib cage, of your lower back. Yeah. And then see if that allows you to twist a little deeper. Good. Nice. And then release, come back up to hands and knees. Go to the other side, take the left arm out and wide and slide behind the right wrist. Left shoulder finds the floor. Turn your gaze to the right, walk the right arm forward towards straight. Press into your shin. So don't lose connection to the legs. Keep the low belly, the hip points, the bony part of the front of your pelvis lifting up off of your thighs. Good. And then again, see if you can fill up the back of your body. So maybe push into your left forearm a little more. That's the arm on the floor. Good. And then you can twist from your trunk a little bit more. You can open that right armpit. But breathe more space, more expansion through the back of your ribs, back of your lower spine. Nice. And then come all the way back up to hands and knees. Good. Keep the hips stacked over top of the knees. Walk your hands forward so you're in a modified downward facing dog. Good. So walk the arms forward. Press into the hands, maybe even come up on fingertips so that your armpits stay really lifted. Good. And you're dragging the hips back in space. Again, lift your low belly so that you don't fall into that arch in the lower back. Lift your low belly. Good. And then pressing into the hands, let your heart soften towards the floor. Good. But you're keeping the low belly super engaged. Nice. Heart drops towards the floor, but belly is super engaged. Good. Heart drops towards the floor, belly engaged. Lift those forearms. Good. One more time. Drop the heart, belly engaged. Don't drop your belly. Good. And then walk your hands back in, please. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, come into a full downward facing dog. Good. Bend your elbows out and wide. So bend your elbows so they go wide. Yeah, feel the wideness of your chest. Still pull your hips up and back. Now squeeze your elbows so they point towards the back of your mat. Rotate the arms and feel like you are hugging your armpits towards each other. Good. Now press into the hands. Pull your hips back more. Start to straighten the arms, that full down dog, but press the crown of your head towards your fingertips. Good. And then right foot steps forward between the hands. Lunge. Inhale, both arms to the sky, high lunge. Nice. Interlace your fingers, press the heels of the hands up to the sky, deep breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to bend your back knee a lot and pull it forward. So bend your back knee, pull the thigh forward so that you're almost making a 90-degree angle with both legs. Lift those hip points. Good. And then bring your arms forward, round into your upper back. Push the arms straight out from the chest. Good. And then inhale, straighten the back leg. Take the arms back up to the sky. Nice. And then one more time, exhale, bring the arms forward, round into your back, bend that back knee a lot and pull the thigh forward. So your pelvis is really straight between the two legs. Good. You're dropping straight down. Good. Take the arms back up, straighten the back thigh. Nice job. Release the hands to the floor. Left hand stays planted, right arm to the sky, spinal twist. Good. Again, just doing a lot of work here to get into the length of your back. Get into the strength of your legs. Nice. Release that right hand down to the floor, please. And then drop the back knee. Take a blanket underneath that knee if you'd like. But both hands come inside the front foot. Walk to the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Good. Separate your hands a little bit wider, up on your fingertips. Good. Let your elbows bend. Yeah, just a little bit of moving up and down. So as you exhale, you bend the elbows, drop your chest towards the floor, and then inhale, let the arms come a little bit straighter, and exhaling, dropping inside, chest wide. So this is important. Let the elbows go wide so that you're opening up the armpit area. And as you drop the shoulders inside the knee, you're getting into the hips. Good. Because even though dancer pose is a lot of quad stretching, so the thigh, big thigh muscle, if the hips are not in a open place, then actually taking the leg back behind you into that almost like a standing Anjaneyasana position is very difficult to do, right? The standing hip won't allow it. Good. And then bring yourself back to stillness, please. Walk the hands back in. Nice job. Lift your back knee. And then take your right leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Yep. Good. Bend that knee, kick your heel in towards your butt. Stack the right hip on top of the left. Good. So you're opening the inner thigh. And then you're drawing that knee back in space. Sometimes I tell you to bring the knee forward towards your armpit, but this time I want you to really draw it back in space. So there's this long line from your armpit all the way through the line of that knee. Good. And then lift your left low belly a little higher and wider. That's it. Good. And then bring that knee facing down towards the floor. Stretch straight. Start to walk your hands back towards your standing leg. So you're coming into standing split. Right leg is still up to the sky. Walk your hands back towards your left foot until you are in standing split. Yeah. Good. Again, coordinating all of those muscles that hold you up in a standing split, because you need that for dancer pose. Sorry. Good. One more breath. And then walk your hands back forward again, down dog split. Good. Release that foot down to the floor. Drop your knees to the floor, please. Do a little hip circling. Good. And then drop yourself back to child's pose, knees wide, big toes together to touch. Nice, you guys. And press into your shins here. When you press into the lower legs, it helps to activate the larger muscles that go up the leg, through the upper thigh, through the sides of your thigh, up into your hips. So push into your shins. Good. And then walk yourself back up to hands and knees and come back to downward facing dog. Good. Did I do down dog split first? Doesn't matter. Left, yep, left leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Yes, I did. Good. Step that foot forward between the hands, lunge. Good. So left foot forward between the hands. Take both arms to the sky, high lunge. Yep, high lunge. Good. Interlace your fingers, press heels of the hands up to the sky. Good. So that's your inhale. As you exhale, bend your back knee a lot and pull the back thigh forward. Good. And then round into your shoulders and push out through your hands. So again, you're getting into the full connection of upper body and lower body. Good. Straighten the back thigh. Really nice, Joanne. Take the arms back up overhead. Get really long through your side ribs. And then one more time, exhale, bend the back knee, pull the thigh forward and round into your rib cage. So push your ribs back in space as you push your hands forward. Good. You can drop the chin, Melissa, if you want. Yeah. Yeah. So you get your neck involved there too. And then straighten the leg, please. Take the arms back up to the sky. Good. Release the hands down to the floor. Right hand plants left arm to the sky for a spinal twist. Yeah. Back thigh gets super long here, you guys. So lift that back thigh. So part of this is to start to stretch the front of the thigh, stretch the hip flexors. So not just the thigh muscle itself, but those internal muscles. Good. Release the hand down to the floor. Drop the back knee. Both hands come inside the front foot. Walk to the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Good. So your hips should be slightly in front of your back knee. So it's like you're almost in Anjaneyasana, but your hands are on the floor. Good. And then separate the hands a little wider. Come up on your fingertips. Nice. And then again, as you're exhaling, you're bending your elbows, dropping the chest towards the floor. And as you're inhaling, you're letting yourself come back up almost to straight arms, and then exhaling, dropping in again. Nice. And do that a couple more times. Good. Again, letting the shoulders drop low inside the knees, helping to stretch the hip area, lower back. Again, working the hip flexors. Beautiful. Good. And then come to stillness, please. Walk your hands back in towards the front foot. Lift your back knee up. And then you're going to take your left leg up and back to down dog split. Good. Bend the knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, stack the left hip on top of the right, and get into the length of your legs. You're drawing the knee back in space so that there's that feeling that you have from your armpit all the way through your side body, all the way through your thigh to your knee, that there's one long line. So you're reaching out. It's not just an opening, but you're extending out through that knee. Good. And then right low belly lifts and widens a little more. So don't let that right heel fall wide, hug it in. Beautiful. Point the knee back down towards the floor, straighten the left leg, keep it up in the air. Walk your hands back towards your feet till you come into standing split. Yeah, notice what has to wake up in your belly, in your ribs, in order to support that. The muscles of your thigh that have to continuously stay active to lift that leg. Good. Deep breath in, bow a little deeper towards your standing leg. Nice. And then walk the hands forward again, back to down dog split. Don't put the leg down. Good. Nice. And then let that foot come back down to the floor, please. Beautiful. Drop to your knees. Good. Again, circle the hips. Maybe go the opposite direction from what you did before. Good. And then drop back to child's pose. Beautiful. Take one more deep breath. Again, that place that is steady and quiet. And not quiet because nothing is going on, but quiet because you're not trying to fix it. It's part of equanimity, is realizing that there are maybe things that still there are to do, problems to solve, et cetera, but if your mind isn't in that hyper state of trying to fix it, then we can feel that quietness, the steadiness. Walk yourself back up to hands and knees. Good. Downward facing dog. So that's what we're cultivating. Again, every pose is a chance energetically to be looking for a certain attitude in us. Right foot steps forward between the hands. Inhale the arms up, high lunge. Good. Take the arms out wide, letter T, and then cross the left arm in front of the right, in front of your chest. Wrap the arms for eagle. Good. And so you're pressing the forearms against each other and then pull your outer armpits back. So it's like you're pulling your armpits back towards the center of your spine. So you have this widening of your chest, but your forearms are squeezing together. Good. And then keep that. Take your torso forward, parallel to the floor, arms still in eagle. Step up to warrior three. Good. So again, working a lot of this one-legged balancing. Yeah. And then bend your standing knee in this position. So that leg that's holding you, bend it and then kick your left leg higher. Good. You still have that steady place inside. Keep breathing. Good. Now straighten your standing leg. Lift your chest a little higher and squeeze those armpits towards the center of your back. Yes. Now step back to high lunge. Yep. Yeah. Release the arms. Nice, Melissa. You got it. Arms to the sky. Good. And then release the hands down to the floor. Awesome, you guys. Drop the back knee, please. Walk both hands inside the front foot. Walk again to the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Drop down to your elbows or use a block. Good. Nice. So again, usually this is where I say that in this format, I am concerned less with the choreography between the poses and more about the functionality of what we're doing. And so this going back and forth between different actions, but returning again and again to the ones that are really targeted towards the pose that you're trying to achieve is important, is you want to stretch the hips and then do something else and then come back to the same hip stretch and then do something else and then come back to it again. This is how you increase flexibility, right? Increase understanding. But every time you come into a similar position, do it with a sense of where is there greater understanding? Where can I actively let go? Actively let myself go a little deeper? Where can I adjust that gives me more space? So that's what we're cultivating in our minds, is the ability to be aware of what is happening internally in the poses. Good. Nice, you guys. Walk yourself back in. Take your hands up to the front thigh, please. If you need a blanket underneath your knee here and you don't have one, maybe grab one. But walk your hands up to the front thigh and then push that thigh forward and then round your back again. As you push into that thigh, pull your ribs back and then feel that little lift at the front edge of your pelvis. So Joanne, it looks like you might have to step your foot forward a little more. There you go. Good, good, good. Yeah. And then go for the quad stretch. So you might even need to lean forward a little bit here or take one hand down to the floor, bend that left knee, bring the heel in, reach back for the foot or the ankle, same hand, same foot. Good. And then you're pressing that foot back into the hand as you lift your hip points forward and up. You can keep pressing that right hand against your thigh. Good. One more breath. Just breathe from the tip of your knee all the way up through your shoulder. And then slowly release it. Good. Hands to the floor. Lift the back knee up. Good. Step back, downward facing dog. Nice, you guys. All right, second side. Left leg comes forward, left foot steps forward. Inhale the arms up, high lunge. Good. Take the arms out wide, letter T, and then right arm crosses over top of left in front of your chest. Wrap the arms for eagle on the other side. And again, if what I said, crossing the arms is what you just did, make sure you just cross the other way. And then remember here is that you're engaging the muscles of your upper back. So press the forearms together and then use your back to open your chest. Squeeze those armpits towards the center of your spine. Nice. And then take your torso forward without collapsing that, without rounding too much into your upper back. And then step up to warrior three. Right leg comes parallel to the floor. You've still got to pull those armpits up towards the center of your back. Good. And keep pressing the forearms together. And then bend your standing knee, left knee bends. And then maybe you can kick your right leg higher and pull up through your low back, pull up, push your sacrum to the sky, and then straighten that standing leg again. Good. And then step back to high lunge. Yeah. Shoulders over hips, lift those elbows. Yeah. And then unwind the arms, arms to the sky. Good. And then release the hands down to the floor. Nice. Drop the back knee, blanket there if you'd like, both hands inside the front foot, walk to the upper right-hand corner of your mat, come on down to your elbows or blocks, but let the shoulders go below the level of your knee if you can. Good. So the front knee is still tracking towards second or third toe. Good. We still want to have an awareness of not letting the left butt cheek pop out to the side, so keep it drawing in. Good. And then can you also, same as you were doing when you were doing the little push-up variation here, can you let your chest get really wide? Yeah, so there's an integration of your shoulders onto your back, your shoulder blades onto your back. Good. So the dancer pose is said to be the entirety of our living experience. So it's creation or beginnings, it's sustaining, the middle, and it's dissolving, and it's the ends. And it's all happening simultaneously. So this feeling of integration is really relevant, because mentally, if we don't know how to navigate things as they are beginning and other things are ending at the same time, right? creates anxiety, creates that feeling of overwhelm, destroys that sense of quiet. So the dancer is constantly moving, but is so integrated that movement is not disturbance. It's easeful. Nice, you guys. Walk yourself back up, please. Bring your hands up to that front thigh. And again, making sure you have a blanket underneath that back knee if you'd like one to be there. And then pressing the hands down into the thigh, let the knee really draw forward as you round your back and pull your belly back in space. Good, so you're lifting the front edge of your pelvis. It means your tail is going to lengthen towards the floor. Good, and as you lean your weight forward, you might feel like the top of that back thigh starts to get really hard. So that's where you have to really, again, draw into the back of your body and then start to go for the quad stretch, bending the back knee, reach back, right hand for the right foot or ankle. Good. So same hand, same foot. Nice. And this is where you watch. So that back knee has to draw down and hug forward, pull it forward, and then go into the back of your body. So you're trying to fill up your sacrum. You're trying to fill up the back of your rib cage. Good. And you're still pushing that front thigh away. Nice. And then slowly release. Good, you guys. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. I don't know if I've met anyone who has sincerely told me that quad stretching is fun for them. I'm sure people are out there, but I don't think I know them. Slide forward to plank pose, please. Upward push up. Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need. Yeah. Good. Rise up cobra, lift head, neck, and chest. Yeah. Press into your feet. Good. Release the belly or release the chest back down to the floor, back to your belly. And then really re-anchor your feet. So maybe even place a block between your feet. That's another option, is to place a block between your feet. Easier to do when you're up on hands and knees. You can place the block there between your ankles or your shins and then come on to your belly. So something to squeeze into and then push down. Good. And as you rise up into cobra, I want you to start the action from the tops of your thighs. So lift the front edge of your pelvis up off of the floor a little bit, and then press into the hands and start to lift the chest forward and up. Good. And at the same time, you're squeezing your feet and you're pushing down. Shins down to the floor, but thighs pull forward and up. Breathe into the back of your body. Fill up your back rib cage. Even though you're in a back bend, fill it up. Navel to spine. Yes. And then release. Good. This is how we support the spine in a back bend, right? Bend both knees this time. Kick your heels in towards your butt. You can't really use a block for this one. Right, well, I mean, you could, but let's not. Right hand to right ankle, left hand to left ankle. So hold both feet if you can. If not, hands stay alongside your ribs. Draw those heels down towards your butt. Keep them there. Press your thighs down to the floor. Feel as though you're trying to pop your butt up towards your heels. Good. And then draw into your low belly to lift that front edge of your pelvic bones again. Send the tops of your thighs towards the floor just a little bit. Bend your elbows straight up towards the ceiling. Lift head, neck, and chest. Good. Heels stay in towards your butt. Yeah. And again, navel to spine. Fill up the back of your rib cage. Good. And have that feeling that it's the top of your thighs that is helping to create the arch of your upper back. Good. Thighs down, knees down. That's it. And then release. I know, super aggravating pose. I'm aware. Beautiful, you guys. Flip over onto your backs, please. Let the feet go. Flip over onto your backs. Like I said, not interested too much in the choreography. Good. Right ankle comes on top of left thigh, please. Good. For a moment, lift that left shin. Bring the shin parallel to the floor. Reach through to hold the left thigh. Good. And again, flexing both feet and pressing the left thigh back into your hands as you scoop your belly and push your low back down into the floor. Good. Hugging in and pushing out. Nice. And then release the thigh, please. Take the foot back down to the floor, left foot to the floor. Keep the right ankle where it is. And then drop your feet to your left. Drop your knees to the left. So your right foot is going to come flat to the floor, and you're lifting that knee, your right knee, to point up towards the ceiling. So right foot flat to the floor, still on top of that left thigh. Lift your right knee up towards the ceiling, and your right lower back, right side of your sacrum, is trying to reach back down towards the floor. Good. So Kristen, you could probably put that foot to the inside of your left thigh if having it all the way crossed over doesn't work. Like right on top of your inner thigh. Yeah, there you go. Somewhere there. Good. Nice. So you want to almost feel like that space where your thigh is meeting your hip is getting softer. Like the thigh bone is settling into the hip socket as your lower back finds its way towards the floor. Good. Beautiful, you guys. And then slowly come on back up. Come back to center. Good. Unwind that ankle, please. Right foot finds the floor. Left ankle stacks on top of right thigh. Lift the right shin. Good. So the shin parallels the floor. You got it, Melissa. Just lift that other leg up to the sky. Good. And you're pushing that thigh back against your hands. Nice. Scooping your belly, push your low back down to the floor. Good. And then release that thigh, please. Take the right foot back down to the floor. Left ankle stays where it is. Drop your legs to the right. So left foot is going to come down to the floor. Good. Bringing that left knee to face up towards the ceiling. So you're working a little bit of that outer hip muscle, lifting the inner thigh and dropping the left side of your sacrum down towards the floor. Good. So again, at some point, that's going to be a little bit of a choice of your low back coming down to the floor might mean that your left knee actually has to fall inward a little bit to make that accessible. So the more your back gets closer to the floor, you might have to soften the angle of the knee, bring it back in, send your back down to the floor, and then see how much more you can open. Good. So we're always working with how the bones are actually working in the joint. Otherwise, we might open the knee really wide and it actually stresses the lower back, tightens the lower back. Good. Come on back to center, please. Unwinding the legs. Good. Hug the knees in towards your chest. Good. Take a happy baby because you're there. So draw the knees wide, reach for your ankles or your feet. Again, scooping your belly, pressing the low back down into the floor. Good. And then widen, bend your elbows. If your forearms can come inside your shins, bend your elbows wide, pushing out into your inner knees, and then squeeze your inner knees towards your upper arms. So squeeze your knees towards each other. That's it. And then press your low back down to the floor. Good. And again, activating outer hips. Awesome, you guys. And then release that squeeze, hug the knees straight in towards your chest. Good. Roll forward and back, come up to sit. Flip over back onto hands and knees, downward facing dog. Little almost cardio, right? Yeah. All right. Right leg up and back behind you. Down dog split. Bring that knee forward and wide for pigeon. Knee goes towards the right wrist, sliding the left leg back. Good. And squeezing the legs towards each other, really send that outer left hip, that's your back hip, spinning forward. Good. And then walk yourself straight ahead. Come into your resting pigeon onto your forearms. Nice. But I want you to keep a consistent feeling that you are sending your sit bones, so the back of your pelvis, back, so towards that extended heel and down towards the floor. Good. Nice, you guys. The Shiva energy is one that says that you are in the world, and at the same time, your internal awareness stays in a place that is steady, right? Because if our sense of ourself is always dictated by what's going on in the world around us, is we will always be in a state of stress. We will always be in a state of flux, because that's the nature of the world. Yoga tells us that the nature of you, the deepest places in you, is a peaceful place. Right? And peace doesn't mean that there are no conflicting energies, but it means that there is not that frantic need to somehow fix it, but you can be with it as you navigate moment by moment. So relaxing around the complications in our life is part of that steadiness. And pigeon's a good place to talk about that, right? Relax around the complications that are happening in those big muscles. That you can really just be okay. You don't have to be good or bad. You can simply be okay. Nice, you guys. And then come on up onto your forearm. So lift just a little higher. And then again, optional here is to bend that back knee, kick your heel in, reach for the twisting quad stretch this time. So taking the right hand back for your left ankle. So opposite hand to foot. Good. The same rules apply. You're still dragging that left thigh down and forward. You're lifting up through the spine, through the chest, and you're kicking that foot back into your hand. So add that backwards pressure. Good. Open the chest. You got it, Susan. Nice. And then slowly release. Beautiful. Foot to the floor. Lift that back knee. Take the right leg up and back. Down dog split. Good. And then bend that right knee. Kick your heel in towards your butt. Keep the knee pointing down. Good. Lift that thigh a little higher. Scoop into that low belly. And then start to drag your arm bones up into the shoulder socket. Lift your gaze forward, lift your chest forward, come into a little back bend as you kick that right thigh higher. And as the belly is dropping into that back bend, still draw the navel towards your spine. And then hug those arms and lift your chest up. Armpits pulling towards the center of your back. Good. And kick that thigh higher. Yep. Stretch the thigh. Good. And then release the head, stretch the legs straight back behind you. Drop that foot to the floor, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Vinyasa if you'd like, or take a child's pose. If you're doing the vinyasa, it means sliding forward to plank, lowering down to your belly or chaturanga, coming into cobra or upward facing dog, making that still navel to spine in your back bend, and then downward facing dog. Good. Pigeon on the second side, left leg comes up and back behind you. Down dog split, and then bring the knee forward and wide. Left knee towards your left wrist. Good. And again, you're squeezing the legs towards each other and sending the top of that right hip spinning forward. That's your back hip spins forward and your front hip spins slightly back. Good. Then walk yourself onto your forearms, or elbows or forehead or blocks or whatever you're using. Keep your front foot awake. So Joanne, just really curl your toes on that front foot, like you're trying to flex the foot, or point it completely. Yeah, either one works. Nice, you guys. Remember, the pelvis here is still consistently, front edge of the pelvis lifts up away from the floor, and your sit bones, that's the back of your pelvis, is consistently trying to reach for the floor. Good. Nice. Pigeon, again, we think of it as a hip opener, external rotation opener, but it works a lot of hip flexors, so the muscles that run internally at the front of the pelvis or that help to lift the legs. Necessary to be open for dancer pose. Also helps with some of the outer thigh, IT band type of things. Necessary for dancer pose. Helps to open up the lower back. Glutes. Necessary for dancer pose. Nice. The dance of your life. To know someone who her response, whenever you asked her how she was, is she would often say to you, dancing as fast as I can. Right? Representing that stressful place of life is just so busy, it's moving so fast. And it is. And if inside you stay present with that place that is just okay, and that speed doesn't have to feel overwhelming, right? We start to become really good at recognizing what we might like to do, but what isn't necessary. I know. Keep relaxing around pigeon. The more you relax, the more effective it becomes. Good. We need to have that too, time to shift perspective. If you just keep flipping your mind back and forth, it doesn't relax. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Then walk yourself back up onto your forearms, please. You can come back up onto the hands if that makes this easier. Twisting quad stretch. So you're bending the right knee, taking the heel in, reaching back, left hand for the foot or the ankle. Good. And again, you're dragging that right thigh down and forward. So the front of your pelvis is lifting up. So the thigh dictates where the back bend can go. If your thigh is lifting forward and up, your ribs can draw in and back, and your chest can lift up and open. Good. Fill up the back of your body, please. Press that foot against the hand. Nice. And then slowly release. Nice, Kristen. Good, Melissa. Hands to the floor, lift that back knee, take your left leg back and up, down dog split. Good. So that's the leg that the hip just got a lot of opening. So left leg up, bend the knee, kick your heel in, knee points straight down, and then lift that thigh a little higher, and then pull those arms. So Melissa, don't open the hip, keep the knee pointing straight down. Good. And then pull those arm bones up into the shoulder socket, lift your chest forward, come into like you're doing cobra pose. So your upper body is trying to do cobra, but your back leg is up in that quad stretch. Good. Chest up, ribs in, navel in, stretch the belly. Pull the hips back and the armpits forward. Good. And then release the head, stretch the leg back to straight. Feet find the floor. Good. Drop down to your knees, child's pose. And again, it's always funny to me. We do dancer pose a million times, right? We've done it a million times. And so all of this fuss and bother to do a pose you've done a million times. But if something matters to you, right, we seek to understand it. So can you really understand coming into dancer pose without maybe the habitual places that feel tight or restricted? And can you know that where you do find yourself tight and restricted in your body or your mind or anywhere else, that if you keep working with it, navigating it, that there's a way for it to be different. There's a way for it to be more easeful, more quiet. All right, walk yourself back up, please. You're going to sit in Virasana, so just bring the knees a little closer together. If you want to place a block between your feet, you can do that to sit back on. So you're sitting between your heels, either butt to the floor if that's available, or using a prop between your feet. Good, but knees point straight ahead, tops of the feet are flat to the floor, and then grab your strap. Make sure your strap is within reach. Good, so again, this is passive quad stretching, so passive stretch for the front of the thighs, tops of the thighs. Nice. And then strap in front of you to begin just holding it straight out. Good, shoulder height. Good, give yourself plenty of room. It's one of my favorite, easy shoulder stretching exercises. So as you inhale, you're gonna take the strap up overhead, keep the same tension on the strap. And as you exhale, without bending the elbows, bring the strap all the way back behind you towards your butt. Good. And then inhaling back up and exhaling forward. Good. Do that a couple of times. Keep the tension on the strap, inhaling the arms up and rotating back. Good. And then all the way up and then all the way forward in front of you. So Melissa, even though you don't have the strap, you can keep going in sort of that action. So you've got the whole range of motion of the shoulders. Yeah, all the way forward and up and back. Good. Don't let your ribs pop forward and back. So it's not a cat-cow action. It's a keep your spine nice and steady and move your arms action. Nice. And then take that strap straight up to the sky. Good. So here, if you have a block, Melissa, you could use a block, or you could just kind of bear claw your hands this way. Good. So the strap is up. I want you to bend your elbows wide, like you're doing a pull-up, and bring the strap right behind your head if you can. Good. And same thing, if you're bear clawing the hands, elbows wide. So you're just pulling down on the shoulder blades and lifting the chest, and then stretch the arms back up straight. Good. And then again, exhaling, bending the elbows wide as you pull your chest up, 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 get longer. Good. And then arms straight up. One more time. Good. Bending the elbows wide, lifting the chest. You really want to feel that squeeze of the lower shoulder blades, the squeeze of the lower armpits, and then extend the arms back up. Good. And then release the strap to the side, please. Nice. Come on up to hands and knees. Good. Press back, downward facing dog. Nice. And then start to walk your feet forward towards your hands. Good. Bring your hands to your hips, please. Come all the way up to stand. Good. So right leg is going to be your standing leg. Bend the left knee, kick your heel back towards your butt. Left hand reaches for the foot or the ankle. So same hand, same foot. Right leg, standing leg, bend your left knee, reach back for the foot or the ankle. Let that knee point straight down to the floor. So draw it back in space just so it's in line with your standing knee. Good. And then bring your right hand behind your head. Good. Pressing the head back into your hand, draw your low rib cage in. Just keep that knee in line with the opposite knee. Good. Lift as tall as you can. Nice. Top of that left thigh goes up and back. Top of that right thigh goes up and back. Good. Start to take that left knee back behind you just a little bit. Kick the foot into your hand. Good. Keep lifting the front edge of your low belly, the front edge of your pelvis. Yeah, so it's like a little micro movement. Keep your shoulders up on top of your hips as much as you can. Head presses back. And then draw that knee, left knee back a little more. Good. And keep lifting the chest up. Keep lifting the front of your pelvis up, dropping your tail. And one more time, draw the knee back just a little bit more. Good. And then release all the way back up to center, please. Nice. Hug that right knee up in towards, left knee up in towards your chest. Squeeze it in. Good. And then release it down to the floor. So you gave it the opposite action, right? That's sort of the full release. Is instead of it being extended back behind you, you brought it forward and up and in. So it got to go the other direction, right? So also increasing flexibility is you want to do opposing actions, not just the same one over and over again. Try the second side, left leg, standing leg, bend your right knee. And I know it's a long time to be balanced on one foot, but it gives you an awareness of if you're not trying to balance on one foot for just long enough to be in the pose and then out of the pose, is you learn to sustain standing on one foot. Good, on one leg. Lift those tops of the thighs up, so front of the pelvis lifts up. Left hand behind your head. Good. So that helps keep you in awareness of what your head is doing. Don't let the head fall forward. Press the back of the head back. Good. And then knees in line with each other. So for some people, this already is a pretty good amount of stretch for that right knee to be in line with the left. And then start to add that pressure of the right foot into the hand. Move the knee back just a little bit. And keep lifting the front edge of your pelvis. Good. Keep drawing your ribs in, keep drawing your low belly in, press your head back into your hand. And then move that right knee back just a little bit more. Good. And then still lifting the chest up. So you're doing this opposing action. As the foot moves away from you, your chest has to lift equally in the opposite direction. And then that thigh moves back just a little bit more. Keep pressing the foot into the hand, head back into the hand at the back of your head. Good. And then bring it all the way back to center, please. Good. Bring that right knee up and towards your chest. So switch the position, squeeze in. Nice. And then release that foot down to the floor. Good. Bend both knees. Drop your seat back into chair. Good. Take your hands behind your head. Elbows wide. Scoop into that low belly place. Twist to your right. So prayer twist with no prayer. Keep your knees in line with each other. That's it. Take your ribs back to center, please. Stay steady with those hips, twist the other way. Good. Keep the hips level, facing forward. Nice. And then back to center, stretch out through the arms, reach back through your sit bones. Good. Hands to the floor, straighten the legs and bow. Beautiful. Step back to downward facing dog. Remember I said you're doing a lot of just back and forth so that the legs and the torso and the whole front of the body gets different variations here. Slide forward to plank pose. Lower down to your belly. And come into Sphinx pose. Come up onto your forearms. Good. Turn your left forearm parallel to the top of your mat. Bend your right knee, take your heel in towards your butt, and then reach back right hand for the foot or the ankle. Nice. So you can start with drawing that heel in towards your butt, again, really focusing on that stretch of your thigh, and then push into your left forearm. So again, you get that sensation of having to lift the chest at the same time that you draw that thigh long, that you draw the heel in. And then I want you to try to do the opposite. I want you to press your foot into your hand, move that heel away from your butt, really work the energy of pressing back through your foot, drag that right thigh down and lift your chest more. Good. But do it by kicking your foot back into your hand. And still the belly draws in. Fill up the back of your belly, the back of your spine, the back of your body. That's it. Nice. It's just dancer pose on your belly. And then slowly release. Good, you guys. Try the other side. Turn your right forearm parallel to the front of your mat. Bend your left knee. Bring that heel in. Make sure that when you bend the knee doesn't fly open to the side. Keep it right back behind the hip. And then reaching for the foot or the ankle, start with drawing the heel in, just working the length of your thigh. Good. And the thing I want you to feel is the difference between when you are just trying to stretch one part of the body and when you are trying to actively use your whole spine. So here you might feel like you're just doing a lot more focus on the thigh. You're doing a lot more focus on just what that leg is doing. Then suddenly we switch the focus, press that foot back into your hand, let the heel come away from your butt. Good. Work the energy of the thigh pressing down into the floor, the front of your pelvis drawing forward and up. Your ribs moving away from the floor. Push into that arm on the floor. Lift your chest. And feel that the chest, as it's rising up and your foot pulls back, is creating this synergy that the whole body is now active, where maybe it wasn't so much when you were just working the thigh. Good. Quiet place inside. You're really okay. Nice. Slowly release. The moment when something becomes very intense, relax down onto your belly, please. Bend the elbows wide. Pillow with your hands, rest the forehead for a moment. The moment when things become very intense, especially when you are in any of the asana and you are trying to get past an edge in yourself or you're finding an edge. Relaxing into being okay. The body will either release its tension and soften into a new position or it won't. Right? Your desire to push beyond a limitation with force is not going to bring you the progress that you hope for. It might get you somewhere. It might also get you somewhere with an injury. So when things get intense, you breathe very deeply and you pause. And in the moment that you relax, the range of motion or whatever potential is really there becomes more clear. This is dancer pose, as you are in the middle, the intersection of so many pieces of your life, so many pieces of your being. And if you don't pause to feel them, see them, then it will always feel like it's confusion. If we're always looking for things to be right in a certain way, we're always in the need of fixing it. We take away that feeling that we're okay. Good. Forehead faces the floor. Please stretch your arms, reaching back towards your feet. Pressing through the front of your pelvis, float your legs up off the floor, pointing the toes, and then lift head, neck, and chest. Again, this is whole body lifting. Good. Pull your low rib cage in, like you're trying to round your back rib cage away from the floor, navel to spine. And then pull the armpits forward and pull your hips back, and then lengthen through the back of your throat again. And then optional, maybe this feels great and just stay here. Optional, bend your knees, kick your heels in. Maybe lift your hands to reach to see if you can easily find your ankles. If you have to contort yourself to find your ankles, don't bother. Good. Nice. And then kick your feet back into your hands. Pull your ribs in. Nice, Joanne. Good, Kristen. Nice, Melissa. Nice, Susan. Good job, Steve. And then slowly release. You know, we never say good job to the models. We just expect them to do their job back there. Press up to hands and knees. Child's pose. Okay, walk yourself back up, hands and knees. Come back to downward facing dog. Walk your feet forward towards your hands. Bend your knees like you're dropping into chair. Keep your fingertips on the floor for a moment. Round your back. So again, really getting into that feeling of fullness at the back of your ribs, at the back of your sacrum, navel to spine. Good. And then drop the hips a little lower. Maintain that feeling of fullness. Stretch the arms up alongside your ears. Full chair. Good. And then come all the way up to stand. Okay, so we're coming back to dancer pose. This time variation, if you would like to use your strap, you can use your strap. So using the strap, if you're going to do that, you're going to basically place it around your, we're going to do right leg, standing leg. So left leg is the one lifting. So you're bringing the strap around your left foot. So as you bend your knee, kick your heel back behind you, strap is behind you. And then the option here that I'm looking for with the strap is to bring both arms overhead, bend your elbows so that your elbows are pointing up towards the sky and your hands are reaching for the strap back behind you. So it's big shoulder opener. Good. So Susan, I would start with the strap in your left hand since that's the leg that's lifting. Yeah, it's going to be easier to find the shoulder rotation. Good. So you're bending that knee, kicking the heel in. And again, if you're not using the strap, you can still go for this variation, hands together in prayer behind the head. Absolutely, you can do that. Good. And then start with the knees in line with each other. Start to, again, work from the back leg. The leg is what dictates where the back bend can go here. So draw the thigh back first. And then as the thigh comes back, lifting through the front of the pelvis, through your ribs. Good. You can begin to tilt forward on the pelvis just a little bit, almost like you're coming into warrior three. Good. But as you tilt forward, the only way that stays balanced is if your thigh continues to lift. So work from the back leg. The thigh lifts. And breathe deeply, navel to spine. You're stretching the belly, not dropping the belly. Good. Oh, you guys look so steady. And then slowly bring it all the way back up. Nice. Release the legs. Sweet. If you can bring the knee forward and up and towards your chest before you put it down. So again, you give just a relief to the joint. Nice. And then step it down. Good. If you didn't breathe through all of that, again, I can hear Steve breathing. I can't hear all of you. So my assumption is because most of us stop breathing when we're doing one-legged balancing because we're concentrating so hard, try to remember to breathe. All right. Strap around your right foot. Left leg holds you, bend the right knee, take the heel back and up, arms overhead, bending the elbows straight up towards the sky, either prayer position with hands behind the head or reaching back for your strap. You can walk your hands down the strap as much as you'd like to create more stretch. Good. Start with the knees in line with each other. So that's keeping the pelvic points facing straight ahead. And then start to draw that knee back behind you just a little bit. Again, the back leg is what is determining how far your back bend's going to go. So work on the strength of lifting through that back thigh, what that feels like. Keeping the ribs lifted up, and then begin to tilt forward like you're coming into warrior three. So you don't drop the chest, but you're actually reaching. As the chest reaches forward, the belly stretches and that thigh pulls back. Push your foot into the strap. Good. Yeah. And again, balancing, your breath is still moving, and whatever is happening, remember you're okay. Good. And then slowly bring it all the way back up. Release the strap. If you can, bring that knee forward and up. Good. And then place the foot down towards the floor. Good. Place your strap to the side. Separate your feet a little wider. Good. Forward fold, bend your knees, hold opposite elbows and hang. Little ragdoll. Good. So keep the knees bent. You can sway from side to side if you'd like. Beautiful. And then releasing the hands, please roll up the spine one vertebra at a time. Good. One more variation of dancer pose. And then you are complete. Heel toe your feet a little closer together. All right. Right leg holds you, bend the left knee. Bring the foot back behind you. Left hand holds the foot or the ankle. Right arm comes up alongside your ear. So more of the traditional stance. Same thing that we've been doing, but this time how I want you to come into it is you're going to kick that thigh back in towards your hand. Come forward a lot. So bring yourself basically into warrior three. Take your chest forward. Yeah. Keep drawing your belly in, but bring your chest forward like you're in warrior three. And then when you get all the way into that forward action of warrior three, now kick your foot back into your hand and start to move that right armpit back and up. Find the back bend. Good. So it's a completely different experience, right? I know, you don't have to answer. Nice. And then slowly bring it all the way back up. Good. And then release that foot. Bring the knee forward if you can. Step it down. Beautiful. And then try the second side. Left leg holds you. Right knee comes in towards your right heel, comes in towards your butt. Reach back, hand to the foot or the ankle, right arm to the sky. Good. And then again, don't focus on the back bend aspect first. Lean forward, come parallel to the floor, come into warrior three with that leg lifted. Good. Feel the shoulders stretching. And again, you're lengthening, just like warrior three. Then start to kick the foot into the hand. See if that thigh will lift higher and start to draw your left armpit forward and up. Find the back bend. Good, but stay forward. Stay in that pelvic tilt. Awesome. Just want you to feel that there's more than one way to come into this pose, physically as well as mentally. And then bring yourself all the way back up. Good. Bring that knee forward and up and towards your chest, and then release. Beautiful, you guys. Take the feet nice and wide. Turn your toes out. Bend the knees. Come down, squat just to get you down to the floor. Also, it's a nice release for the hips, right? And then release onto your butt. Come to sit. Good. Bottoms of the feet together. Let your knees drop wide. Fold forward. Yeah, nothing complicated. Dancer pose is a standing back bend, where if we're not putting pressure in opposing directions, there is no balance. And if we're not feeling integration of the extremities into the core, then there is no balance, there's no stability. So these are all the qualities of what it takes to maintain that state of being internally okay. So navigating opposites, integrating things that look like they are separate. Walk yourself back up, please. Good. Bring the knees back up. Come on down onto your backs. Good. Hug the knees in towards your chest. Right thigh comes on top of left. Yeah, scoot your hips over to the right, drop your legs to the left. There we go. Yeah, and if twisting with the legs wrapped does not feel good, then unwrap the legs, stack the knees. It's said that the Shiva energy is the place that we return to over and over. And all it is awareness, the okayness, that whether you are in the beginning of something, the middle of something, the end of something, you're always in all of those places. You can consistently be aware of that state of being okay. Unwind the legs, come back to center. Good, switch the cross, take the left leg on top of the right. Scoot your hips over to the left, drop your knees to the right. And then slowly unwinding the legs, coming back to center, squeeze the knees in towards your chest. Little inverted child's pose, let the knees go slightly wide and pull towards your armpits. And then press your shins back against your hands. Yeah, so it's like you're in child's pose on your back. Press your low back down to the floor. Good. And then as you release, stretching the legs out in front of you, arms alongside you, palms face up, Shavasana. Very gently bring the awareness back to your breath. Letting the body begin to stretch and move in whatever ways serve it well. And as you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest and roll to your right side. Taking a moment there before you begin to push the floor away, come back to an upright seated position. Hands coming to rest palm to palm at the heart. The image of the dancer, right? One leg lifted in that complicated pose, but perfectly balanced. The detail that we're asked to remember is that his face is always smiling. that no matter what complicated things are happening, how intense your life might be in the moment, can you continue to smile inside? Might be hard to smile outside, but can you be in a state where you know that you are okay, that this moment is passing, whether it's a beginning, a middle, or an end, it's passing. So you are fully present and still smiling inside. It's the energy of the dancer. So practice that when you are on one leg in a complicated position, wondering what is the meaning of life. It's the ability to keep smiling inside. Close with the sound of Om, deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your night. I will see you soon. And we got a scoop. It's Valerie's turn.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Have a great night, you guys. Sorry, Val. Getting off now. So I think when I end this, it might kick you out too. So you might have to sign right back in.